So having a team is important, not just for the business, but even in your creative world, because everything starts to add up. My St. Lucian heritage definitely grounded me, kept me on a level. And, and how I associate myself with St. Lucia is that, it's my family. So St. Lucia for me is the kind of family engulfment. So what I find is that as soon as I talk about St. Lucia, Leee John's out the door. That's a completely different person. For artists coming up nowadays, I think you have to create your own rules and you have to really be disciplined, because I think discipline is very important. It's not easy, but you have to really try and be your own unique person. The moment you stop learning, or, there's always new things to learn about. The world is big. Even if you're in your own environment, there's so many things outside that you can still learn. Always to have the right people around you and keep your feet on the ground.
Welcome to Begin, Build, Blossom, Your Business Journey, the podcast where we share valuable insights, resources, and motivation to fuel your entrepreneurial spirit. Let's build a supportive community together. Don't forget to subscribe or follow wherever you listen to podcasts and be part of this journey. Let's pause for a moment to hear from our sponsors. You've built a name for yourself through hard work and dedication, but does managing the business side feel like a distraction from your true passion? Are you dealing with unmanaged finances? CME Accounting LLC is here to help. We specialize in organizing your financial records, allowing you to focus on what you do best. With organized books, you'll have more time for what inspires you. Whether that's expanding your influence, building relationships, or simply enjoying life. Don't let unmanaged finances hold you back. Reach out to CME Accounting LLC today and let us help you thrive. Visit our website, www.cmeaccountingllc.com, or email us at admin@cmeaccountingllc.com. All right, let's jump back into our conversation.
This episode of Begin, Build, Blossom, Your Business Journey was presented by CME Accounting LLC in collaboration with the St. Lucia High Commission in the United Kingdom. Welcome to Begin, Build, Blossom, Your Business Journey, a space for inspiration, insight, and real conversations about business, entrepreneurship, and all things in the like. I'm your host, Angela Sindenis, and we're in for another fantastic episode. In fact, today's guest is nothing short of royalty, a true icon of British soul, funk, and jazz. Leee John first rose to international fame as the frontman of the chart-topping group Imagination, giving us timeless classics like Just an Illusion, Body Talk, and Music and Lights. Tracks that help define the sound of the 80s and continue to inspire artists and audiences across generations. With a career spanning over 4 decades, Lee's creative journey has taken him from sold-out arenas to global collaborations, from film and television to humanitarian advocacy. His voice, both literally and figuratively, remains one of resilience, elegance, and artistic evolution. Beyond the stage, he's a passionate documentarian and cultural curator dedicated to preserving the legacy of Black British music and telling the stories that shaped a generation. He's more than a performer. He's a storyteller, a trailblazer, and a living legend. It's an absolute pleasure to welcome Leee John to Begin, Build, Blossom. Welcome, Lee.
Thank you for having me. Great to be here.
Yes, and thank you for taking the time as well. I know you're a busy man.
Yeah.
Going around the world. So
everywhere.
So the family is very appreciative of, hearing your story. And we hope that from this conversation, we can inspire another generation to not just think about music as something I can make money from, but something that could inspire change.
Yeah, I think you have to be very passionate. The first thing, you have to be passionate what you want to do. When I was very young, I listened, I looked, but I had that hunger. And I lived in an analog age. It wasn't digital. So you had to figuratively do things physically.
Yes.
And, you know, if you had to be on time, you had to be on time.
Yes.
If you had to address something, you had to give it your full attention.
Yes, and commitment.
And that's a situation. Discipline is a very important factor as well. So being in this industry today, I think that's one of the things that's lacking, I find sometimes, the discipline. People go very quickly.
They want the microwave kind of
everything
results.
very quickly.
Yes.
And, you know, all the lessons to be learnt, I learned from the past, from artists before me. And I think that's where you know, delving into history is where you can find so many, because we go around.
It's a circle. That's right.
Yes.
Yes. And we see it in fashion.
All the time.
The songs,
the
the
80s
beats.
are back again for 2026, you know.
Yes,
so
who would have thought?
I'm fashionable again. So it's one of those situations. So it comes around. So it's right there. And it's very hard these days to get good quality because you don't know if it's real or AI.
That is so true. You have to be very discerning.
Yes, you have to be. So I find that in doing what I do, I've got the knowledge. Luckily, God's given me the knowledge and the blessings to keep going and to keep learning.
Yes.
Even I'm at the age I am, I'm still learning. I'm still educating. You never stop learning. You never stop educating.
That's right.
And the moment you stop learning or, you know, there's always new things to learn about. You know, the world is big.
Yes.
So even if you're in your own environment,
yes,
there's so many things outside that you can still learn.
That's correct. And that will make the difference of where you get to.
Oh, yes, totally.
So just from this intro, Lee, I can see that this conversation is going to go very far. It'll be very informative. So at Begin, Build, Blossom, we will go through the format of how you began, how you built, and how you blossom. But before we get into that, there's a section we call Rapid Fire.
Okay.
So we get to know you a little bit better, you know, so we ask you some questions that perhaps you haven't thought about yet in some way. So the first question has to do with describing yourself in one word as a child and who you are today.
As a child, I remember I was walking. I'd open the door and walk.
Okay.
Yeah. And they caught me walking down the street.
Okay.
And nothing's changed. Because I'm still walking. They used to call me Walkford. Because I'm walking, you know. So I think that there are periods in my life where, you know, I thought, you know what? I need to go back to how I was before my superstar status or whatever, so that I can actually go back to that person I was, because I thought, you know what? Things sometimes when you're in the industry can get on top of you. One of the things, I was speaking to a young musician recently, and he was like having a little bit of success, but he was going through issues. And I said, what happens is that you go in it because you love it. You go in it for the music, the passion for everything. But the business, the managers, they take over it and they can divide you and psychologically mess you up.
Yes.
And call you have mental stress and things like that. And we all went through it. But you don't realize at the time that that's what's happening.
Okay.
You don't realize that because it's the business and everyone's trying to use psychological things on you.
And you're thinking this is normal.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is one of the things where it's always to have the right people around you and keep your feet on the ground. So I see myself when I was very young, very determined, inquisitive. My mother said I was always inquisitive. How is that? How is that? And my grandmother said, Tima mai sala, you know. But now I think there's still a bit of that still inside of me. You know, I still try and keep a bit of the child inside of you. Keep it fun. Keep it happy. Keep it joyous. And that sunshine inside of you will come out to other people. And that can inspire other people to think, well, yeah, it's not so tough. I can still enjoy it. And you have to enjoy what you're doing.
Okay. So we have the inquisitiveness just transcend the age growing. You still remain inquisitive.
Oh yeah. I think that's
You're
the
still
thing.
Walking and learning.
I'm still walking. My team that are with me, you know, from my company, my team, my tour managers and that, when we're in different countries and stuff, they hate going out with me. Cause like when we go to a new town, like I was in Turin a week or so ago, and I want to see the town. But we have to have a rehearsal. We have to have a sound check. We have to have all these kind of things. And I think, right, I've got an hour or so.
So you have to make the most of it.
I have to go and run around and see, what is this town? Who's this? What's going on? How the people are. You know, I was in Manchester not too long ago. And the same thing. It's like you go to a different town or city and it's like you're listening to different languages. But you're actually understanding the audience you're going to be performing for.
Yes.
You see, that's what I like to ingest.
That makes sense, yes.
So, I tend to always go a couple of days before I do a show, just to make sure I know
to get the vibe.
Completely.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Great. So our next question on the rapid fire has to do with, I don't know if you'll have the time, but is there a book or perhaps a movie that you'd recommend a book you've read, a movie you've seen that's inspiring?
Oh my goodness. Yes, in actual fact, a book by John Gunther, which my grandmother gave to me, called Death Be Not Proud. And it was about a young man whose father looking after him, and he saw his son grow up and get to an age, and all of a sudden he developed a brain tumor. And all the scenarios he was seeing something, a second insight while he was having this brain tumor, these very special things he could see, and how the father coped with it. It was a pre-war novel, if I remember it. But I remember, and I always keep saying, I've got to get this book and give this to friends for Christmas. I keep saying it. But it's a very special book, Death Be Not Proud. And they made a movie out of it years ago. But films, oh my gosh, I always like musicals, but I also like, since I've been filming myself, I've been finding that I look at things differently through the eyes. I loved West Side Story because it could have been any culture. It could have been black.
Can transcend.
Yeah, it can transcend to anything. Don't appreciate the new version so much. But the old version, I thought it was very good. And, I love all the Godfather series, you know, I love the Godfather series. I like that. But one program I did like a lot, and I was Jack Bauer's 24. Cause you never know what's happening. Like
that's a detective crime.
It's like it's
a mix with life.
It's everything. But
somebody's missing.
He was working for, like a CIA sort of company, but he was very normal. And he was not the normal sort of, big macho kind of character. He was very, very normal. And, I found that, I'd be speaking to you, for example, in the film, and you'd kill me. But you would know, that person. Yeah. It's like, how are you? And you drink, the next minute the person's dead. And, oh God, what's happened? It was really good, but it was very good. 24. I think they're bringing it back. Yeah.
All
but
right.
it had suspense. Nothing was obvious. Nothing was obvious.
So you really had to use the brain to.
That's what I like. Things that I have to, psychologically use the brain.
Try to figure out.
Yeah. When it's too obvious, who's just walked in the room, you think, oh, well, we know what's happening. No, no.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for sharing that. As we move along, our third question is a fun fact about Leee.
I like animals. Yeah, people don't mean, I like animals. In our family, we've always had a cat.
So you have cats?
I have one now.
Oh, you have one now.
But my mother likes to take over the cat. She talks to the cat like it's,
another person.
Yeah. And she asks about it. And if I'm on the phone, the cat will meow. Seriously.
So they have a connection.
You have a connection, especially on the mobile. When the mobile rings, the cat will run into the room.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's because he wants to hear what the conversation's about. It's very funny. Really, really, really funny, so.
Okay.
But,
thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite, things.
Okay. All right. So I know you travel a lot. So you're all over the world. But if there's one country in the world you could be right now, where would that be?
Bali.
Oh.
Bali. Yeah. I went there in the 90s. I used to go a lot every New Year. It was because the people are very gentle and very still and calm.
Okay.
And you go there with all this city anxiety and your BPM of 3,000. And you go there and it's like, you can meditate. You can go up to Ubud in the mountains. The beaches were great. And it's just a place where you can get your mind together. And I recommend if you wanted to go for a place that, to meditate, to really chill out,
yes, I need to chill out.
Yeah. I mean, I meditate, every day, at least for 10, 15 minutes just to breathe. Because we need that in this environment that we're in. That's another thing people need to do is take that 10 minutes and just say, okay, breathe.
Yes.
And for the last, say, 15 years, I've been doing Qigong, which is a form of like Tai Chi, a form of, like yoga exercise every day. So when I get up, if I do anything, I do that. And in places like Bali or in the Far East, they do that sort of thing. And actually in Spain, recently, I'm seeing people on the beach doing that as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so definitely Bali is somewhere for me to be.
As well as St. Lucia.
Yes. That as well. Okay. So our final question under the rapid fire is is there a favorite childhood memory that always brings a smile to your face that you'd like to share?
There's a few. I won a talent competition when I was about 9, 10. There was a group called The Foundations, and there was a song, Baby Now That I Found You. And I went up on stage and sang over the record. And then fast forward, I actually met the lead singer, Clem Curtis.
Okay.
And he heard the story.
Okay.
And he invited me to his 70th birthday party. And I sang it with him. It's on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, singing Baby Now I Found You. So I now pay tribute to him in our show.
Okay, wow.
So that's and every time I hear the song, I get those tingles. Seriously,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
The memory.
I think music does that. Music, you hear a certain song and it sends you back, or you think, oh, I remember this,
Yes.
Like if you hear
nostalgia.
Like you hear Nat King Cole sing Unforgettable.
Yes, and then you start singing too.
Yeah. Those kind of things,
Okay. All right. Excellent. Well, thanks for sharing those insights into you. I also know that you swim in the morning. Is that how you?
Yes.
That's part
Swimming
of your
is also a meditation.
Okay.
So, I find sometimes there's stress coming in, but first thing I swim, even this morning.
Every day.
As much as I can every day. Yeah. And I use the weights in the pool. So they help. Yeah. Because as we get past 40 plus, you have to look after, it's all of this. And my mom says, people don't want to see you on stage if you're looking that, like that. So there's
at her ripe old age,
you can
she's
hear,
still thinking about that, right?
She's still there. She's still active. I'm telling you,
Okay. So thanks for all of that. And so we're talking about beginning, singing, performing, all of this. How did you get into it? What inspired you? What was that first push?
When I was born in Hackney in London, and my parents split, and my father went to live in America, and he took me with him. But prior to that, I was taking piano lessons. I did violin, I did flute, I did drama. I did a few drama workshops. I was part of an Anna Shear's theater group. But when I went to America, I auditioned for a company called Worldwide Records. I was 12 or something like that. And they signed me up. It was like the Michael Jackson 5 period. So they signed me, but my father didn't want me to do it because he said schoolwork and all that kind of stuff. But it gave me that incentive to think, well, if they liked me, there's a possibility. So it was always in the background. And, I wanted to come back to be with my mother. So I got that opportunity. So as soon as I came back, I formed a duo. It was called Russ and Lee. And when I was 15, we got signed to EMI. That it was like one of those Hollywood stories where you go into the reception of the record company and you see someone sitting there and you're saying, he looks like a manager. I think he could be, he's got the briefcase, he's got the glasses, he looks like this.
Yes.
And we were crazy kids.
Yes. And before it was easy to tell those kind of things.
And so he said, yes, I am a manager, what are you two guys doing? I said, well, we're singers, So he said, do you want to hear us sing? I said, oh yeah. So this is an EMI where the Beatles, the old, EMI building, and you could see all the secretaries coming out and we started to perform.
So what is EMI?
EMI was the record company.
Okay.
Yeah. That was a huge, it exists, I think. No, I don't think it just exists anymore. I think it's under another name, bought out by Warner Brothers or Sony.
Okay.
But EMI was the big company. And so, we did this impromptu a cappella number, and all the secretaries were clapping. So he says, I like you guys, you know. So I said, you know, I'm doing a new label and I'd like you to be part of it, which is connected to EMI. So he signed us.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, he signed us and we went into the studio, Mayfair Studios, which was in South Molton Street in the West End. Mm-hmm. And we had the top session musicians. There was a group called Gonzales. They had a track called, Hadn't Stopped Dancing Yet. And that was a big record for them. They were like top session musicians. And so they backed us. Mm-hmm. The record didn't do anything, but we had a wonderful experience. I think it was top 10 in Finsbury Park. But it was a great experience.
Yes.
But then I thought at that point, I didn't think I was that good.
Okay.
And I felt, you know what? I need to learn more. I want to be as good as the people. You know, I love Motown. I love Stax. I wanted to be Stevie Wonder, Marvin Gaye, you know, these kind of people. I wanted to be that. So I saw that's where you can go. I wanted to be there. That's what I saw. So, my associate who was working with me in the group, he was more interested in the money. He was more, he'd always be saying like, you know, what they're paying us, you know. And I was learning the songs and learning the melodies and everything like that. And he was saying, oh, you know, I don't trust this person with the money.
Yeah. Rather than focusing on performing.
Exactly.
He was like,
From then on, my sister was part of the Hugh Norris Strolling Players. She formed this drama group. And, you know, she wanted me to be part of it and she gave me my pocket money to be in the drama group. And, which was great. We put on a lot of plays. I was a Nancy the Spider-Man and we did all these, dance choreography things and stuff like that. And, I was doing quite a lot of things. At one point I was working part-time with a band in the evenings and on the weekends, doing a Saturday job. And
you were really working.
Yeah.
Burning the candles at both ends. Yeah. And possibly in the middle too.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was doing, you know, but that's how I got by. And then it got me into the business where I was doing session work. I was with, in actual fact, my drummer, Mel Gaynor, he's my musical director for my live shows along with Dr. John Watson, who works with me. And Mel Gaynor was saying to me yesterday, he was playing at the same pub that we used to play at. I said, I never saw you there, which was the George Canning pub in Brixton. It was a famous pub.
Oh, really?
Run by a wrestler who used to be on TV. And I was in the group called the Sun Valley Serenaders. And Matthew Emmanuel, who's a St. Lucian, God bless his soul, he just passed. He had this group. And actually, I met him when we were doing a play. And their band was backing us for the play. And he liked my voice. So he said, look, come and see me on Sunday down in the Queen's Hotel in the Queen's Pub in Peckham. Come and see if, you know, come and sing one or two songs and something like that. You know, that's how it was. So I went and, he liked what I was doing and, he'd have a steel band. We'd have a bass. We'd have a keyboard, a little organ. And, it turned out he wanted me to be part of the band. So I did. I do little part-time jobs with them. We do working man clubs. We do the bingo halls. It was great, a great experience, great experience. And talking of which, for example, if I was late for a gig, I'd have to take the money that was going to be paid for the gig to get to the venue.
Oh.
So that was my money. That's what, you know, or if I had friends, they'd come and they'd go to the bar
and then take
and
it
using
out
my money. Yeah. It was all a learning experience. And, I had sessions. I did a session for Elvis Costello in the late 70s. And I was a singing waiter in London.
Oh.
As well. So I was singing in the band at the pub. And then in the evenings, I'd go and I'd be doing this whole review. We had an impresario from New York, Terry Hammond, and he made us do this whole reviews. So all the West End sort of musicals, he'd make them into medleys. And I was a dreadful waiter.
Because that's what I was about to, how does that work? The singing waiter work?
Well, basically, people come in, they sit at the restaurant, and then about a certain time, he'd be going, dum, 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 and then we all come out there with our plates in our hands like this. If you ever saw the film Hello, Dolly, it's, there's a bit where all the waiters come out and Barbra Streisand's coming down the stairs and they did this whole routine. So we did this whole theatrical routine with plates. And then we'd go back to serving.
Oh,
And
okay.
then the piano player would play and he'd call each one of us up to do a number. Then we'd do ensemble numbers together. Mm-hmm. And then we'd stop and then do a whole 45 minutes routine.
Oh, wow.
And then we have to clean up the place. So it was very funny. Yeah.
You were wiped out by then.
Yeah, by then. But it was great. I remember we were learning music from Cole Porter, Rodgers and Hart, Rodgers and Hammerstein. Oh my goodness. There was a lot of music, but I had to cram everything in to learn it. I remember I was sick for a few days and I still had to learn everything on my cassette tape recorder. And,
okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was a lot of stuff, but it was all learning. It was all grafting. But I enjoyed it.
Okay. And then that influenced who you are today. I'm sure you give a lot of credit to that kind of dedication, commitment.
Oh, that was. I mean, friends would take me to an audition, for example, and I'd be with a band. I mean, there was a group called Sweet Sensation who had a big record years ago, and I went and auditioned, and they asked me to join it, but I didn't want to join them. And then there was another band. I just went from different groups. At one point, I was in 3 bands at the same time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you were really spreading all your eggs were not in one basket.
No, definitely. No.
Yes,
I was doing a lot of that. And, but I started to do a lot of my own writing. I was writing since I was very young. So by the time imagination formed, I had loads and loads and loads of lyrics and melodies and cassettes and stuff of songs. In actual fact, our second single, In and Out of Love, I'd written that years before. But, when it came time for recording this particular track, I knew I had the right melody and lyrics for it. So I had a stack of lyrics and writings way before the success of the group.
Okay. So there are 2 questions that popped into mind. One is, how did imagination come about? And 2 is, did you ever see performing, singing as something you could have turned into a business and make your living? Seriously.
Yeah.
Because yes, you saw Stevie Wonder, you saw these, and yes, you aspire, but did you see it as a business?
Well, I saw Stevie Wonder. He was one of the first shows I saw at the Rainbow Theatre, which was down the road from where we lived. And it was very inspiring for me because it's wow, because he can play and he was blind, but he could, such
and
dynamic. And sing. For me, it was one of those situations where I didn't think about the money. I just thought about, I really wanted to be good and try to be the best of what I'm doing. And when we formed Imagination, in actual fact, I formed Imagination. What happened was I was working with Trevor Horn. He's a producer that did Seal. He did Grace Jones. He did Frankie Goes to Hollywood. He was working with Yes. He had a track called, Video Kill the Radio Star. He produced that and did that. And, we'd done a track together called Got to Be Good. And I took this track to the record company. This record company at this time were forming like a kind of soul funk label. And the A&R guy, Morgan Khan, he liked my energy and he thought, well, this song could be really cool. So he took the master and sent it to America because not to get remixed, but to add, I think, Earth, Wind and Fire horns and stuff because we were around a lot of musicians and they lost the master. And those it was tape. So
God.
So I've got a copy of it of just like a mock up of what we did, but they lost the tape. So I thought that's the end of my career. That's it. I don't trust these people.
Yes.
I thought you lost my first. So, what happened was, the record company executives, said, look, we're very sorry what's happened. We'd like to put you together with a producer. I think you could write with him called Tony Swain. And, Tony Swain and Steve Jolly, who became our producers, worked on the Muppet Show. They were cameramen on the Muppet Show.
Oh.
Yeah. So that was for their sins. They were doing that. So they'd get studio time occasionally, but then they'd go back on TV and be doing the camera work for the Muppets. It was very funny. So, I met Tony in a hallway and he had this cassette and he said, look, if you'd like to write something on this, please let me know if you don't feel it, He was very, very humble and he's still very humble today. So I took this cassette home and on my mom's kitchen table, I sat down, I wrote the melody and the words to Body Talk, which became my first hit. I went in the studio, they gave me studio time. They didn't know what we were going to do. They had no idea. Morgan, the A&R guy, and Tony. And I called Ashley, who was doing some sessions with me, because I was doing a lot of sessions with, like I said, I was different bands and stuff. I was working with an agency that had a lot of American groups that would come over. And these were older 70s, 60s groups like the Delphonics, chairman of the board. I ended up working with these artists, I was
so you were exposed to various aspects.
Oh, yeah.
Very types of musicians.
Oh, yeah. It was very much, a lot of people don't even realize that, I was like, and then I'd be working with these American guys and then go to Peckham and we'd playing reggae, or steel band or whatever. So I jumped from one to the other, or in that time it was all disco. So I even remember when I was in St. Lucia, they used to have at the hotels, the bands used to copy all the songs of the day. I remember seeing,
and do the covers, as you
covers,
say.
Boo and the True Tones, is it?
Yes, the True Tones, yes.
Yeah. And I remember hearing them there's a track called Nice and Slow by Jesse Green. And that track was part of the company I ended up signing to, which is ironic. It's one of those things,
Because you wouldn't have seen that vision.
No,
just the experience.
I just saw Jesse Green and he was signed to that record company. And my life has had these sort of experiences. For example, one of the, managers of the record company a couple of years prior had met me and had said to me, I'd like you to demo a track for us. But I said, I didn't trust him. I didn't trust this kind of, guy. So, and he wanted me to sing something that hadn't been written and I wanted to write my own stuff.
Okay.
So that's one of the things.
So another writer, he provided the words.
Yeah. And I said, no, I want to write my own stuff, But anyway, we got signed to the label and, Body Talk became one of the most played sought after, like, tracks you'd hear in clubs. It was the ending of the dance disco period. And Body Talk was kind of very slow, but very hypnotic and very sexy. So everybody was like, oh, wow, this is my groove.
You can feel the groove. You can feel the vibe.
Yeah, feel the vibe. And, you found all the DJs were playing it and we were number one in all these different charts and stuff. And what happened was, I think we got to number 44, 48 in the chart. And I thought, well, that's it. When it came to British black music, we didn't always get that support. So I just thought, we'll be in the top 40 and then that would be it. And, I got a call from the record company. I'd just come home saying, I think you may be on Top of the Pops. Now, Top of the Pops is one of the biggest music television programs in England.
Okay.
So basically, when you we're on Top of the Pops, it was like family viewing. Everybody on a Thursday night would be watching Top of the Pops because all the artists are on that show. So I got the call and it was like, I think you possibly may be on Top of the Pops. I said, okay, yeah, fine. I put the phone down.
And you just brushed it up.
And I just brushed it up and then rang, don't you know you're going to be on it? I said, we didn't say I was going to be on it. So we had to rush around and we're looking for different outfits. And a friend of mine was a designer.
So was it a live? Not to cut you off. It's a live performance.
We performed live, but it was pre-recorded.
Okay,
yeah.
I see.
It was a very long day because you go there and say at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, you do the first run through so they know how you're going to move. Then you had another one before lunchtime. Then you had another one at tea time. Then you had another one just before they got the audience in. And, it was a long day, but it was really it was a life-changing moment for myself and the other guys. Definitely was a life-changing, that moment on TV.
So would you say that experience or that moment catapulted you into getting on the bigger stage?
Oh, yes. I mean, all of a sudden, the whole world started to want to know Imagination. Yeah. Our first album, every track from the album was a single and a hit. Body Talk was a hit. In and Out of Love was a hit. Flashback was a hit. So Good So Right was a double A side. In America was top 10 R&B. Tell Me You Want My Love was number one in Canada. And the only one that became like a classic where everybody had it and they'd play it was a track called Don't Look Back. So that was the first album. So I thought we can't surpass this, And then the second one, In the Heat of the Night, became even bigger, So we've sold and in the end we sold, I think, over 30 million records.
Oh, wow.
I mean, with everything, for that whole decade. So, and then Illusion came
Yes, because this song is in my head, Lee. Just an illusion.
And the thing about it is,
I was born in that time, so I don't
well,
even know
go.
you.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm only now being exposed to you.
Well, Just an Illusion was funny because we were promoting in America the Body Talk album, and I just finished Illusion and In the Heat of the Night, recorded them back to back in the same day.
Okay.
And when I recorded it, I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I thought, this and that. And because what happened was the beginning, you hear illusion, that bit, was an idea I had. And because we're using tape, we tacked it on at the end of the tape.
Okay.
So they had to spin that bit in to the front.
Okay.
Because I was very involved in what we did, production wise. My producers always.
Because you had a vision of what you wanted to deliver.
They were like for Flashback. I said I didn't want any drums behind my voice. I wanted, we're starting up now on our way. I wanted just the vocal by itself. And they said, well, how are you going to keep it in time to come in with the beat? I said, don't worry, I'll be able to do it. So I only had one go to do it. And when they did, everybody applauded because I had the pulse of the Fender Rhodes coming up. And I had to sing in time to come in with that.
Let's pause for a moment to hear from our sponsors. You've built a name for yourself through hard work and dedication, but does managing the business side feel like a distraction from your true passion? Are you dealing with unmanaged finances? CME Accounting LLC is here to help. We specialize in organizing your financial records, allowing you to focus on what you do best. With organized books, you'll have more time for what inspires you, whether that's expanding your influence, building relationships, or simply enjoying life. Don't let unmanaged finances hold you back. Reach out to CME Accounting LLC today and let us help you thrive. Visit our website, www.cmeaccountingllc.com, or email us at admin@cmeaccountingllc.com. All right, let's jump back into our conversation.
And then because you wrote it, you knew what to expect, where and how,
exactly.
and the delivery and all of that.
Well, Illusion, I did all the background vocals. I think Ashley did some, and I did the majority of the harmonies and everything because I was doing my own harmonies. And what happened was the verses, I just wasn't sure about. And I was singing it differently. I was saying it was completely different to what you hear now.
Okay.
And my producers were saying, why, what's wrong? Because I think everybody was used to the sound that we had and I wanted to go another way. So it's like, I was trying to sing it like Luther Vandross or something like that, or Aretha Franklin. I was listening to Aretha that time. She had this who zoom in, who. So I was hearing all these riffs and I wanted to do it in that. So I was like, searching for a destiny that's mine. Or like Michael, something like that. And they were going, what's wrong, Lee? What's happening?
So you had a cook-up going on there, Lee.
I definitely did. And it was, I remember it was about 12 o'clock in the night. And I probably exhausted everybody and myself. So by the time I went into the studio and I just sang it and they go, oh my God, why didn't you do that? And I thought, oh, that's easy, for me to do. And that was it. And I walked out of the studio and I thought, forgot anything about it. And then when we were in New York promoting Body Talk, we did, Paradise Garage, which was a huge club in New York at the time. We were going to Canada and in this limo, Frankie Crocker, the DJ of the time, he said, I got an exclusive from Imagination, the UK. I know they're in town. Guys, this is for you. And it was just an illusion. And everybody went crazy. And I'm sitting there thinking,
really? That's what you...
I wanted In the Heat of the Night to be the first single.
Okay.
You see, and not Illusion. I said, let's have that after. Because I preferred In the Heat of the Night. I liked all the grooves. I liked that kind of pulse, that groove. And so Illusion came out and it became the biggest. So I think loads of artists sometimes have that experience where the record they didn't really think of becomes the big hit.
Yes.
Number one everywhere.
Yeah, that is so true because just to say from my own experience, I did a recording and by the time I was done, I finished about 11 in the night and I said to my friend, I don't like this recording. I don't think it was done well. I think I'll have to do it again. I'm just too tired. And it turned out to be the best recording ever.
There you go.
The way I felt is not how I sounded.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
So that is so true. Our expectation, our perception, and what the reality is always different.
I think sometimes the most simple thing is what people want to hear.
Yes.
I did a show last night and all these girls were in the front and they all were singing every lyric. Searching for a destiny that's mine. They're singing it. I thought, oh my goodness gracious, what's happening? You know, they're all singing every bit. So I thought, I better sing this good, you hear? because
they'll outsing you?
Yeah, outsing me. It was funny.
So as you say that, how does something like that make you feel as an artist when you're performing and everybody in the audience can sing along with you?
Oh, it's a high. It's truly is a high. I mean, the show we did last night was really good. It was in Manchester and I hadn't played Manchester for a while. So there were a lot of fans and people had, come from out of the city to see us. So they'd, take the train or whatever, the tram, whatever.
Yes. And I know the people in that area and our surroundings, they travel.
Yeah, they travel. And one guy actually came from Peckham.
Oh
London.
my God.
Yeah. He said he's been following what I'm doing online. He said, I had to come and see you. So I thought, blimey. It was amazing. And they're singing all the words. And it's such a buzz and a high. And you think, especially in these times, that you can bring something positive. And I think what we are vessels that people can escape through. So, even though we may be animated in the way we perform or how we are, I think this is we're vessels that people can escape to enjoy life. Music is one of the best sedatives ever. You get an injection of music in you and and
you come to life.
Yeah. And we need more of that now because what's happening in the world today, right now. We need more music sedatives.
That is correct.
Yeah.
That is very much correct. Along with going out in nature and walking and exercising and so on. So we're coming back to the business aspect. So you indicated that you never really thought much about the money. You just wanted to do music and you wanted to make sure you do it well. So you went out and learned and so on. But then over 30 million records sold. There's money coming in. There needs to be a way of managing all of that. So how did you do it? Did you start a company or did you just operate as that individual?
You have to fall down to get back up. And I think every major artist went through managements that stole money. We had people that stole money from us. Luckily, I say to everybody, I wrote.
And it was so much easier, I think, in those earlier days than it is now.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, basically, I wrote all my songs. So that's why I call my pension money because I'm a writer. So I've always had that. And I've done a lot of other, songs for other people besides Imagination. So those days, everyone was desperate to sign to a record deal. So you don't always look at the fine print. Even our first contract, I've still got it. I still got all these contracts. So, I mean, we had to go back and renegotiate after we'd written it because the manager that we did get in said, look, this isn't good. So the record company were embarrassed with this. And I think every major artist
has that experience.
From the Beatles to the Stones. I've read all these biographies and every one of them went through this same situation. Nowadays, you're more in control about what you're doing with your business. But what I learned was, once I started digesting what the business was all about and so that it wouldn't get in the way of my creative side, then it became much more easier. And I could speak directly to the directors and the head of the companies directly in their language so they would understand without being completely flustered or anything like that. Because, I've heard sort of Rick James going in there and saying, I should be doing this. But learning the industry, sitting back and thinking, okay, how much are you making per record? How much are you making for this? For what I started to do was, for example, first album cover, I didn't like the way I was lit, or the group I said was lit because I thought as black male men, we should have had more tone in our color. This was the 80s. And they weren't taking time to take pictures properly. It was like, oh, yeah, we'll just take this one. And I was thinking, no. So what happened was I started going to the distribution company would have annual meetings and I'd sit in. And then when it came up, like, for example, single sleeves were important in those days when you did a single. So we would discuss how the single sleeve was going to be, the colors, all the different textures, the fonts, everything. So I learned all about that because I didn't like the way
that it was being portrayed, presented.
So people think, oh yeah, it was great. It was really sexy. I thought, no, and I mean, we came from a period where there was punk, new wave. We had the Brit funk. Everybody had different looks, hair there, that. I mean, it's all coming back now. I think in the 80s, the guys wore more makeup than the girls. There was shoulder pads. There was
all these things.
There's a lot of creativeness. You had the Catherine Hamlets, the Vivienne Westwood. Actually, this is with Vivienne Westwood, actually. It was a very combustion of so much going on. Sequences, computers. It was the beginning, the dawning of all of that technology. So we were part of that because we initially had real drummers playing for us. Then we used drum machines. Technology just started to evolve. So we were part of that. So we saw it like samples. You know, when people started to sample at the S900, Akai S900, which was a sampling machine. So you can now, instead of putting everything onto the tape, you put it on the sample, and it was quicker, much quicker. So everything became like that, you know. But the business side also became more obvious. Like nowadays, you can go online and you can see exactly what the situation is. In those days, it was a little bit harder for artists because they wanted to keep that creative control
and to restrict your involvement so that they can capitalize.
Exactly. You know, our first manager's imagination, we had to get rid of him because we were in America doing Soul Train, Don Cornelius's Soul Train. And he was down Sunset Boulevard shopping when we were supposed to be in the studio.
Yes.
And I'm saying, we're probably going to miss this TV if he doesn't get here in time. And so I had a real go at him, you know. I think I had a nervous breakdown after that. But no, we just thought, no, it's not working. And also, one of the main factors for my group imagination was performing live. Because I've all my life, since I was a kid, I've been performing on live with bands. So for us, it was important to get that band on the road. And I was very prepared for that because I'd been doing the bingo halls were like 1,000, 1,500 people.
Okay.
Oh yeah. They're old theaters. They're old theaters that people used to go to. So, you know, they transformed them from after the war to bingo halls. So when we were doing shows, we do like 3 little shows with a steel band and playing funk and stuff. It was 3 shows that we'd be doing. I was kind of ready because I knew the audiences and I knew what and how we could perform.
Okay. So that business establishment, your team. So you've alluded to sort of the question I'm going to ask now in terms of putting a team together. Who consisted of that team? So you let go of a manager, you realize he's not cutting it.
We then got a new manager who really knew about, every aspect. And at the same time, we then had an accountant is a very important factor. I mean, I've got my accountant has been with me since the late 90s.
Okay.
I'm still with the same accounting firm, you know.
Oh, nice.
And he's brought younger associates into the situation. So like I have a film company, so they know about they handle that separately. They handle my music thing separately, but I'm aware of every aspect. If the taxman are coming for me, you know,
then you know your stuff. It's not somebody else trying to pull a wool over your eye.
No. And these days, everything's on the phone, so you can see right there and stuff. But it took a process to actually learn it, understand it, and not let it affect me. And I know a lot of other artists are not the same. So having a team is important, not just for the business, but even in your creative world. You know, I've got my tour manager. He also does sound because everything starts to add up. You know, I was talking to another artist yesterday, funnily enough, and she was saying to me, what people don't know when you book a show, for example, you have to get there. Yes. That's money.
And you have to prepare
You have to prepare. And I say to people, look, if you want to book me, make sure it's more than my outfit I'm wearing. As I said, because once I've worn that outfit, I've got to take it to the cleaners.
Yes.
So are you paying for my cleaning bill? There's all these tiny funny things, but these are
that
things
do add up.
They add up.
And then you could be making a loss if you don't account
Exactly.
for it.
You know, for example, you have your musicians. Where are they coming from to get to where you're going to? Because you got to pay for their taxis, their transport, whatever. All these little tiny little things, they're on the little list, but they add up. What happens is, I've known with some promoters, they'll say to me, how many of you coming? Like if I'm going to Spain or I'm going to France. And, they said, okay, great. Because there's certain artists, I'm not going to say who, they will bring somebody, oh, it's a hairdresser. Oh, it's a makeup artist. Oh, it's this thing. And they're friends. And so the promoters end up paying all this money. I mean, they're really tightening up now. Because it's like, oh, who's this person with that person? And they all fly in business class. You fly these days.
So that's expensive. Yes.
Yeah. That's the
Yes,
situation.
it really cuts the cost and makes it more difficult for other artists coming up who may just be honestly bringing somebody.
So all of these little business things, I think with artists, be very, very frugal with what you're doing. Don't, be very, not frugal, not the word frugal, but very, very,
manage it carefully.
Yeah, aware of every little thing has to be paid for, everything. It's not, people think, oh yes, I'm out there. Yeah, great, fantastic. Woo. And then someone's got to pay and it's you. You got it. Yeah, it's you. But that's why, a lot of people doing independent, which is great. So they can keep an eye on what they're doing. But some people, even now, when they get to the successful level, they forget from the origin of where they came from.
Yes, that is so true. And then the interactions with the people who may have helped them to take that step, they forget.
I still have the same school friends. 40 odd years later, have some of the same band members.
Okay.
All these years, I still have the same kind of team, people working with me. Because you need people who have got your back and you can trust.
Yes.
And if you are going to get annoyed about something, they're aware. So you don't, you're not having tantrums. We just say, right, how can we, sort this out? So therefore, I'm protected. I can say to Ido, who does my sound, my tour management and stuff, I say, can you deal with that? Cause I can't deal with it. And I know he's
you
very,
can trust that the decision he makes is one in your best interest.
He's like a Scottish terrier. He'll, he's like, no, we're not doing this. Lee's not doing that, which is what you need. You need to have people understand that. So we're speaking the same language and that's important. I think, because yet again, you have to pay.
Yes.
Even with lawyers, having good lawyers are important. Really, really important having a good lawyer because they can be very expensive. And I think you can go online and there are places that you can find people, but sometimes it's good to have a good reference from somebody that's had an experience with a lawyer because that's an important factor. See, all these things are before you've even done the music because everything is contracts.
Yes.
Contracts.
So somebody has to read and vet to make sure that your interest is being taken care of.
Exactly. The business side is really, really important. They say 75, 80% of the business and the rest is the music. And especially now with AI, which is making it very difficult for younger artists coming up.
Yes.
That's why I'm encouraging, like I've just done an EP, a jazz EP, and it's all live musicians. So basically I'm showing that the organic side still works.
Yes. And the AI cannot mimic live.
No.
There is if you're very discerning, you can tell the difference even in the look because there are specific things that they're not able to mimic.
I was listening to a Diana Ross record yesterday, was it? The day before yesterday. And, I could hear all her breath as she's taking each phrase. Yes. I could hear with AI, it's all cut out.
Yes. It will be too smooth. It's too perfect.
Yeah. And I like to hear the breath. And I was thinking, she's taking a breath and she's saying the next note.
Yes.
That to me that's what you can tell if it's real or not. Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. You've given a tip.
Yeah.
So Lee, we've spoken about beginning, building. So before we get to that blossom, in everything there's a struggle. So you sort of alluded to some of those struggles, but was there anything at any time that occurred and you said, I'm done with this?
Oh, yes.
This music thing is not for me.
I wouldn't say it was not for me. I remember my sister was pregnant at the time and I had 2 jobs coming in and I wasn't sure about the other and then one didn't come through and the other didn't come through. And she was the one saying to me, don't worry. She said, this happens for a reason. You have to have the negatives. You've got to have the downs to get back up. You must be. I've many times, you don't have a hit record or something. You put all your heart and soul into it and then
it goes flat.
That's happened to me many times. And you just have to get right back up. I think I got taught the best lessons from the things that didn't work. And I think that's important. That gives you that stability and it determines whether you still want to be doing it and why are you doing it?
Yes.
You have to ask yourself why. There were times where I'm thinking, why didn't this work? Why didn't this happen? Why? Ask yourself, why? I think, okay, tomorrow's another day. Let's get back out there. And you have to have that resilience, that you have to, as I said earlier, you have to really love what you do and be passionate. I'm on the train of life, I say to people, and I'm lucky I'm still doing it because there's a lot of people that have given up
Yes.
or they're frightened of doing it. There's one artist I know who's fantastic. She's really wicked. But as soon as you mention the record company, she gets like this. Because it's
triggered in a way.
Yeah, because it's psychologically and mentally can do a lot to you because the demands are a lot, especially nowadays. You don't even, people have got so much front, so much face. They look fantastic, look great.
But there's something else happening.
But will you see them for a whole hour? Especially with reality shows.
No.
See, reality shows, they're only singing a track for 2.5 minutes, It's not a whole song. It's always edited.
Yes.
And everyone's, yeah, you were great. And then the judge is saying you were fantastic. You're really great. You're this, you're that, the other, da, da, da. And you're basing a 2.5 minute song of a performance. But will you see that person for a whole hour or 2 hours even?
Yes.
And then some of the artists nowadays, they've got 15, 20 dancers behind them. So,
you're distracted by
by that or the screens. You don't know what you're looking at.
Or the electrical part of the music.
Yeah. There's a lot of that. I like it when they're broken down and they're very raw. And then you can have all that flashiness, but then strip it down and give me the minimum so I can hear you as you should be. Cool.
So as you say that, for me, I've always thought that live performances really tells whether an artist is
totally
good or not.
Yes.
You can tell because if they can keep up, if you hear more of the music, the band and everything else, then something is happening.
I was taught to sing and dance. So it's second nature to me. So the fact is a lot of the artists have the dancers behind them. Like you see Beyonce, she's got all her vocals on the computer. So some songs you hear her singing and she'll be doing a thing, but she can't be doing all that business and
Yeah.
And she's like,
I always wondered how they kept up
because
without breathing hard.
They've got the master track underneath it. I was on tour with the Gorillas.
Okay.
And we had a huge tour together, and they have 3 drummers, 4 percussionists. They had 6, 7 backing vocalists, plus everything on the master. I had a big hit with them in 2022. The Lost Chord did really good business for me. Got me a completely new audience. And when I went on tour with them, they had the whole thing there. So they just said to me, what do you want to get rid of? Like my ad libs, and everything like that. I said, no, I want to sing it myself. And, cause I'm these high notes and everything like that. And so they had the whole chorus, all the background vocals, plus they had the
mix for when they're dancing
but it's the studio mix. So they had that plus the musician. So just in case something happened, they could just push it up. And that's the way of the game.
I've observed that because as I go to show, thanks for sharing that. I had the opportunity to be in the Beehive earlier this year. So, and I was just amazed at all the theatrics and the performances and the music.
Even theaters
and
like that now.
Yes, that happens behind.
Yeah, because I did a musical 2 years ago, City of Dreams. And it was based on music of
I
Bert
missed it.
Coombs.
I think I was traveling around that time. Yes.
It was a great experience. I hadn't tread the boards for a while, so it was very good. And I played a St. Lucian, and it's based on the Midsummer's Night's Dream. And different people coming to Piccadilly Circus before the war. Each one has a different story. And so it was great to do it. But yet again, they made us record all our background vocals and everything, so that if we're dancing and everything like that, they're there. So,
yes.
so
you're
thinking,
keep up.
But I still had to sing the lead voice anyway, so.
Okay, so that's good. So, Lee, you've answered a lot of the questions that I might have had in this conversation, which is good. And it shows that we're flowing. I mean, you spoke about what keeps you motivated and keeps you going. In terms of balancing family and business, how have you been able to do that? Or have you been able to balance?
Yeah, they ground me. All my friends, all my family. I get calls from America. I get calls from St. Lucia. Oh my gosh.
Just reminding you of who you are.
Yeah. I mean, my grandmother used to say, you bum, you haven't sent me any money. She used to say that, things like that. And I think a St. Lucian family definitely keep you grounded. There's no way, you can go off, put it that way. There's no way. They're bringing you right back where you think you go in.
This episode of Begin, Build, Blossom, Your Business Journey was produced in collaboration with the St. Lucia High Commission in the United Kingdom.
And the elders as well. The elders, the St. Lucian elders, they keep you that way. They're there. And I think that's been good because, even though I was traveling the world and living a champagne lifestyle, I'd come back, I helped my mum in the center, put the chairs in, put them out.
So you were going to all the diaspora engagements?
Yeah.
Because mom is very involved.
Yeah, I used to go to, my sister and I used to, go to the center and help her here and what have you. I've got pictures actually. I'm thinking, where was this? What was that? Because there'd be certain celebrations they'd want us to come down to represent. And, but then when it finished, we still had to clear up and help her take everything back. I think I'm this big star. What am I? But no, I think it's important to have that. I think when it's time for me to be Leee John, that's there. But the family always keeps me grounded. And I think I say to young artists, keep your personal life personal. Whatever you put on the internet and social media, be very careful because there's always someone watching. I see some people, they take pictures of every single thing. The food in the morning, the food in the evening, the food in the afternoon. I'm on the plane. The food in between.
Everything. Yes. And they've checked in somewhere.
Yeah. And then the fact is, there are people out there now looking to burgle you. They are.
True.
There are people, they're looking, it's their business. They can find, there's all these things. So you have to be very careful what you do on social media. I looked at a lot of the older artists who you know all about their music, all about their creativeness and nothing about their personal life. And I prefer that.
To keep it separate.
It separate because that means you're holding on to a piece of you.
That's right.
And that's an important thing. And it's important for your family and your friends as well.
Yeah, for their privacy.
Otherwise, I've seen a lot of destruction. I've seen people going to drugs. I've seen a lot of that in the industry. I've seen it firsthand. And, there's loads of names I could talk about, but I won't because they had a weakness. They were taken over by the business that got them into that situation and they were vulnerable. And that can happen because of the people they bring around with them. So it's always important who's around with you. Is this really a good friend or is this not a good friend? That's another thing, making sure you have the right friends because sometimes you think, they're really cool, but you have to really...
Are they adding value or deducting?
Exactly. Are they taking your energy, but you don't realize it? You don't need people bigging your ego up. It's the opposite. And I think that's a very important factor to be grounded. And even with the people I work with, we keep everything at a very good level. So I can speak to them on a one-to-one. So they're not afraid of me. Oh, he's walking through the room.
Yes.
Sometimes it's a bit like that. I feel it's like, oh, Lee's come, but then we joke about it. I don't throw my weight around. I just let the energy of how it is naturally. But I want people to tell me exactly what's right and what's wrong. So therefore, then they're giving you true value, true friendship, especially your musicians. If there's something wrong, we were in the studio recently, and when the bass player was thinking, Lee, I'm not sure about this situation. Can I suggest? Go ahead. I want to hear that. That's so important. Getting that input from other people when you're creating.
Yes, and keep you grounded. And they can always see it from a different angle.
Yes.
Because that third eye might see things that you're not seeing.
Yeah.
I mean, perspective.
Perspective, So, and our arguing is good. Stupid arguing.
To destroy.
Constructive arguing is good. You need to, so therefore, I think, I want to know what's going on. So sometimes I've got to push and think, okay, You've answered my question. Because that's what I wanted to know.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Lee, lots of insights.
And there's many more.
Yes, I know. You're the third guest today that we can go for 2 hours.
I know. And I've got to go off.
In that sense. But I wanted to, before we close off, is just, if we can summarize in 3 key points that artists today, creatives today, should take into account in getting into this business. But before you answer that, I had one question about the drugs and all these things. How did you keep yourself away from that, even though you saw it happening so frequently?
Well, because remember, I was working prior to Imagination. Okay. So I saw a lot of that. People used to be smoking weed. I never smoked cigarettes. My mother never smoked. My father, he had a pipe or something like that when people used to have pipes and cigars. But, I just thought my instrument is my voice and I have to really look after it. My vices are champagne and red wine. That's it. But I was around it, and my friends, yet again, we kind of like had this insight, like, stay away from that. But what we found was as I started to rise up in the business, I saw a lot of people. I'm thinking, what's wrong? Like people into pain and all that kind of stuff. And it was like, why? There's no need. Why? I mean, I would see people doing it. I'm thinking, why?
Do you think that your St. Lucian heritage positively influenced all of these?
My St. Lucian heritage definitely grounded me, kept me on a level. And, and how I associate myself with St. Lucia is that it's my family. Mm-hmm. So St. Lucia for me is the kind of family engulfment. So what I find is that as soon as I talk about St. Lucia, Leee John's out the door. That's a completely different person. And some people don't know me as Leee John. They know me as McGregor, which is my middle name. So they'll say, oh, McGregor. Oh, stand to attention, But I think there's still, for artists coming up nowadays, I think you have to create your own rules and you have to really be disciplined, because I think discipline is very important. It's not easy, but you have to really try and be your own unique person. And if you're going to offer the world something, try and offer something that is unique to you. Mm-hmm. All the lessons, all the things you can study are in the past. Mm-hmm. You can, as we talked earlier, they go around.
Yes, it will come around again.
So you can get all of that, but it's not easy to sustain. Not everyone is going to get through that door, because unfortunately you have all these reality shows which give you a fictitious idea of what they feel life is about. Mm-hmm. And I think some of these reality shows, though they're fun to watch on some, you laugh and what have you, I think now it's got to a point where they're destructive. And I think they give people the wrong impression of what life is about and how they can sustain, because they're thinking, oh, they've got that. Oh, he's got that. And I find it's very fake. We all used to watch The Housewives of Atlanta and we say, oh my God, Nene. But after a while, I'm thinking, I don't like what this represents. It's just too much. It's like,
as you start to think about it, and
well, I think as a black person, you think, are all black people like this? And that's what other people who are not of our color are thinking, that we're all like this. And we're not. And we're not. And this is the whole situation. And so all of a sudden people start adapting that. So I think sometimes some of these reality shows try and brainwash us. And I think that we have to find our own identity, really check out your culture. I think that's an important part. When I started doing the documentaries, I did 3 documentaries for SOS Children. We did one in Zambia, Tunisia, and South Africa. And it led me to a completely different world. We went to Langa and near Cape Town, and you saw people living in the shanty towns. When I first went to South Africa, I became very close friends with Zinzi Mandela, and was invited to the Mandela House, and Winnie Mandela was cooking for me and everything. She's lovely, great. I mean, what they spoke about her was not true at all. There's a documentary, and all the people that were trying to put her down, you had all these detectives and stuff. They all talk. There's a fantastic documentary. You should check about Winnie Mandela.
Okay.
But I think that I've been blessed because I've had these different journeys.
Okay.
And it's because I pushed myself out there to do it. So that's the lesson. You number one, push yourself out there to do it. If you want to do it, if you think it, you can do it positively though.
Okay. Thank you very much, Leee.
Thank you.
I don't think I need to say anything after that. Right? We're really privileged to have you, and we appreciate this.
Great being
here. So it looks like we'll need a part 2 at some time in the near future.
We will have a part 2, definitely.
In the near future. Okay. Thank you, listeners. This has been Begin, Build, Blossom. My name is Angela Sindenis, and I was your host for this episode. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share the podcast. Until next time. Bye for now. This episode of Begin, Build, Blossom, Your Business Journey was presented by CME Accounting LLC in collaboration with the St. Lucia High Commission in the United Kingdom. A quick note before we wrap up. The insights and experiences shared by our guests are their own. We love creating space for real conversations about business and growth, and everyone's journey is unique. Therefore, this podcast is for informational and inspirational purposes only. It is not meant to replace legal, financial, or other professional advice. So, we encourage you to take what's useful, do your own due diligence, and build what works best for you.
Thanks for listening to Begin, Build, Blossom Your Business Journey. We hope today's conversation gave you the insights and inspiration you need to move forward on your own path. Don't forget to subscribe or follow wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss an episode. Do you have feedback? We'd love to hear from you at podcast@cmeaccountingllc.com. Join us again next week for a new episode.